put the place up. Yeah, we know what we made of. Can't get enough of you, blue, I'm a chaser. Face up, now I feel a little major. Blink of an eye, ego, I'm a taker.
Guys, welcome to another episode of Dark Horse Rowing, and today we're going to talk about how you can take this absolute disgust for the rowing machine and make it work for you inside of your WODS. Frankly, one of the reasons that we're all even here, or that this channel even exists to talk about indoor rowing, is because of CrossFit. So whether you like it or dislike it, CrossFit really has been the thing that has brought rowing back into the mainstream line of sight, if you will. Now you're probably here because there's some kind of WOD at your gym that has rowing in it. And you're thinking to yourself, God, I hate rowing. God, I hate rowing. If only there was some magical video that would help me get through this day without suffering more than I'm already going to. Well, that's why we're making this video. To help you get through your WODs a little bit easier and make it a little bit less bothersome to have rowing in one of your workouts. And I got you covered. And frankly, these are 3 of the easiest tips you could possibly implement when you've got this rowing workout in front of you without having to go back in our archives and look at all our videos. Now don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great content there, but if you are here now because you're looking at a workout and you haven't done any of this practice before, these 3 tips are going to be extremely useful for you right now, today, usable to make you happy. Got you covered. So if you're unsure of what the catch is the front of the stroke. It's where you get loaded into position and you're ready to take your stroke. That's the catch. The catch is the most important part of the stroke, and it's really important that we're in the right position there, because if we're not, then we're not going to have the ability to properly push against the machine. Imagine that you were in the bottom of a deadlift. You're setting up and you have poor position, right? No coach is going to let that go. Or let's say you're setting up for a snatch or a clean and jerk in a poor setup. That is going to impact the bar path as it moves through the lift. Same goes for the stroke. If we don't have a good setup in the catch position, then we're going to struggle through the rest of the stroke. So the things for you to think about just when it comes to the catch, that's just very broad, is number 1, elbows extended, shoulders reaching, lats engaged, back nice and flat, hips behind the shoulders, so you're at a forward body angle. Then you want your knees tracking underneath your arms, and you want your heels down, and you want to be as compressed as possible without any of those things springing a leak. And by leak, I mean coming out of position to cause an energy leak, in case that wasn't clear, because it probably wasn't. So what's really important about this trick is that you understand that it's not about working harder. This trick is simply about changing your focus point when you're on the machine to try and get the absolute most out of every stroke. So when we're talking about a quick catch, all I mean is that the change in direction, that moment in time, from sliding forward to driving, that little bit right there, that moment, if you can speed that up, you're going to create a more instantaneous connection to the flywheel, which is going to, within the machine, read as a longer stroke, as well as allowing you to pick up tension right away, which means you can apply more to the stroke as you drive through it. And the reason being is that this is a freewheeling flywheel inside here. So after I take a stroke, When I release, it begins to freewheel, meaning it's now spinning on its way down, but it's no longer connected to the cog inside here. So as I slide forward, there's no connection to the flywheel. Now once I get here, I have to catch up to the speed of the flywheel, whatever speed that it is at, in order to grab it again, twist it, and then send it off. Sending it off, now it disengages. I pick it up right here and disengage, right? So that's what's happening every stroke, is you're engaging, disengaging. A quick catch ensures that you grab the flywheel immediately and start spinning it up on the drive. So what does that look like? Well, I mentioned it's a focus change. So as I take my stroke, I recover nice and slow. I'm not rushing the last quarter. I'm gliding in. And the only thing that changes is, instead of hanging out here, instead of getting here, having a moment of pause and then driving, I simply turn around or change direction as soon as I get there, and it establishes better tension on the handle, the chain, and then directly connects that to the flywheel. And so really, when I think speed of the catch, the rest of the movement stays relaxed and chilled out. It's simply that turnover time. And a little trick that may help you is to think about changing direction almost a half an inch before you actually get into your full catch. So as I'm gliding forward, right now I would think push, and in the amount of time it takes my brain to send that signal to my body, I'm going to complete that final half an inch to take off. Push, push, right? And that speed of the turnover is going to have a big impact. That goes for any damper setting, any stroke rate. A fast catch is going to be extremely useful for you. Now, I always like to use Jackie, a very standard CrossFit workout, as an example. For those of you that don't know, it's a 1,000-meter row, 50 thrusters, and 30 pull-ups. Now, if we were to just do Jackie standard, 1,000 meters to start, the way that we approach the row is going to be extremely important, because what you have to think about is all the work that comes after the row. Effectively, when something comes after the row, it negates the need to push all the way through the row, because the row is simply just there to tire you out. It is not going to win the workout for you. But if you don't know how to use the machine, it can very likely lose the workout for you. So in this instance, let's use standard Jackie. If there is something that comes after the row, then you are going to taper the final 10% of meters. Okay, now in calories, it's only like 1 or 2 calories, but in meters, for anything 1,000 meters or less, you are going to taper the final 10%. That means 100 meters in our Jackie example. And by taper, I mean really taper. If I'm coming in at a 150, I'm going to, in the final 100 meters, let it climb. 210, 220, 230, I really don't care, because nobody is going to be able to make up enough time on me in that final 100 meters that I won't be able to make up afterwards by feeling better, because I've used that 100 meters to recover. And that's what you do. Instead of, while you're tapering, you're gonna ease off the throttle, bring your heart rate down, get your breathing in control, and get your legs just ready for whatever comes next. In the Jackie instance, it's thrusters. Now, that goes for any time something else shows up after. So if I took Jackie and I split it into 2 rounds, I made it a 500-meter row, 25 thrusters and 15 pull-ups, 2 rounds. In both of those instances, I have something after the row, therefore I'm going to taper the final 10%, and in this case it would be 50 meters. And that is how I'm going to spend the last 10%. The only time that you give everything to the row is when rowing is either the only thing in the workout, your gym program's 2,000 meters for time, or if it ends the workout. Using our Jackie example, let's say we took Jackie but reversed it, so did it in reverse order, 30 pull-ups, 50 thrusters, 1,000-meter row. Well, in this instance, rowing is the last thing and the thing that ends the workout. Therefore, you better go hard. in that 1,000 meters, and that is going to benefit you. But the majority of the time, that's not the case. So if rowing shows up in your WOD, think about the final 10% being your taper. Now, if it's over 1,000, just cap it at 100-meter taper, because somebody could make up a significant distance on you, if you will, in the workout. If, for example, it was a 2,000 or a 5,000 meter workout, right? 500 meters, somebody could really do some damage. 200 meters, they could still do some damage. So that is our final 10%. So when we're talking about the taper, what does that actually look like? Think of it in theory just as a tactic, if you will, or a trick that you keep in your toolbox, not a trick in like the magic sense, or that you're tricking somebody. It's just a tool that you're going to have. So let's imagine, I'm gonna pull up my monitor here and row at, I'm gonna take myself up to the pace that I would use for Jackie. Again, we like to use Jackie as an example. So let's imagine that I'm rowing at a 140, coming into the final 100 meters. Let's just take a look at what that taper looks like. It's simply easing off the throttle. I'm not going to push as hard with my legs, and I'm just gonna almost glide through the movement, because my priority is going to be breathing, calming my heart rate, and letting my legs get ready to step off and transition to the next thing. So what that looks like, I'll just take a few strokes at pressure, and then I'll ease off so you can see what that is. All right, there's a 140. So let's say I'm cruising, coming in for my final 100, 2 more strokes. That's 890 and 900. So I've got 100 meters left. I'm at 158, 206, 211, 214. All right, so I'm just gonna cruise here. I let my stroke rate come down, and my whole effort is relaxing, breathing, and letting my legs get ready and my body get ready to do whatever comes next. Now this tip is extremely important, and those of you that have hung around for a while know that this is a really critical piece to the way that we coach. And it's so easy, and all it is a paradigm shift. All you have to do is change the way that you perceive the movement, and it can have an extremely large impact on how you are moving and impacting this machine, and that is push versus pull.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
The rowing movement is a big push. It's a huge push. There is a pull, but the majority of your strength comes from pushing the machine away from you, not trying to pull the handle to you. Think of it this way. How much more can you squat? How much more weight can you squat versus how much weight can you pull up? Now, I hope that there is a large disparity between those two. If you can pull up as much as you can squat, we have bigger problems. Call me, because we got to work through that. But the majority of the time, you're going to be able to squat more than you can pull up. Therefore, we want to be giving the thought to the movement of pushing the machine, because a push gets you using your legs. A pull makes you think about using your arms, and that is one of the greatest errors that we see in this movement, is people always trying to pull the handle, or if your friend is over your shoulder in the middle of the WOD screaming at you, what are they screaming? It's pull harder. Nobody's telling you to push harder. So if you internally can change the way that you perceive the movement to think about a big push, you're going to find that that has a big impact on your ability to deliver force and power to the machine. So with push, don't pull being probably the single most impactful cue that we give, or that we teach people to give, it really comes down to simply understanding, how do you push against this machine? And to that extent, we want to come back to the catch, right? We briefed the catch already. So loading in that catch position, we talked about arms straight, Nice relaxed grip on the handle, shoulders forward, lats engaged, back nice and flat, hips behind the shoulders, knees tracking underneath the arms, shins as vertical as possible, heels down. Okay, now when I go to drive, I need to brace from everything from my lats all the way down to my hips. I brace and lock in place, and then I'm going to establish this handle tension with that catch, right? We talked about a quick catch before. I'm going to push through the legs, boom, and firing that leg establishes the tension on the handle. It's not pulling here and then trying to push with the legs, because the instant I try to pull, I take away my force production from the legs because I break up the order of operations. So if I open here, I don't have the ability to apply that force any longer with my legs as impactfully as if I brace and start with the legs to initiate that heavy load, which I can then accelerate into. If I get up to the catch and my first move is shoulders open, pulling with the arms, right, I can't apply that same power because I'm not able to load appropriately so that this becomes a force driver. Instead, this becomes an energy leak because of a break somewhere else in the chain, breaking of the elbows, soft midline, whatever it may be. So for this push versus pull, load, brace, push with the legs, and then it's just a snap of the handle at the end. But that push of the legs is the real big driver that I'm looking for. So frankly, guys, all of these tips, they're incredibly easy. And for the most part, these are super fast wins where you can spend less energy, being more efficient, going further, faster, and getting more out of that actual row element of your WOD. And in the long run, you can focus on the actual movement and get even better. But if you need, like right now, if you just need those tips that happen like immediately, these are them. Like if you can make these 3 changes, huge difference. I promise you guys are gonna have an amazing impact on your rowing workouts, or workouts that include rowing, if you will. So continue to practice these, put them in your head, write them down on a little whiteboard, set it there while you're working on that workout, and constantly come back to these 3 tips. Fun fact break, did you know that the Model A Concept 2 rowing machine was made with a bicycle wheel completely exposed that just had little black plastic flap cards on it to help create resistance as it moved? Incredibly dangerous and ingenious. So go give these tips a try, guys, and you're gonna find that they are extremely useful and helpful for you in your WODs and or workouts, wherever they may be. And if you really enjoyed this, make sure that you guys hit that little subscribe button up there. And if you really loved the video, make sure that you hit that little bell next to the subscribe, and you'll make sure to get notifications every time we come out with a new video, and you'll just be happy as a clam, and so will we. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and as always, we'll see you on the other side.